company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talk in Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and it is Friday. It is 8:30. We have made it through another week. That's right, we are on the brink of raising a glass and toasting or cheering to hopefully what will be pints and points this weekend in front of a bumper 25,000 plus crowd. I'm sure the Crunch will have the exact figure, probably to the last person. But yeah, another bumper crowd. Cambridge at home. Still drinking that last chance saloon. But you never know. With results going the right way, Saturday evening, full-time show could be interesting. Or it could just be same old, same old. But I've been sat in ninth forever. Chat is very busy. We've got lots of talking points coming from this week, the press conference, etc., etc. Let's get a few of your comments nice and early. £1.79 from Jeremy. Thank you ever so much, Jeremy, for leading the way and leading by example. EJ Norris, good evening, TT. People hope everyone is looking forward to the game tomorrow. I know I am. Come on, you Blues. Good evening, Irv. I hope you're well. Hope you're not too sad you're back from your holiday. Obviously, the media mogul is now on his. He hasn't mentioned it much or sent many photos, so he's very busy with the hotel, isn't what he thought it would be. Jeremy, what do you think the score will be tomorrow? I'm going to say 4-0. Jeremy's getting it in nice and early, and it's a big one. Ben Hobbs, evening on my way down for Newcastle for the game tomorrow. Look at that. You've got Ben Hobbs coming from Newcastle, Mark Downing coming from Ireland, Amy Downs coming from York. It's really getting, sort of almost like it's end of the season climax time with lots of people coming down. We've got the Her Game 2 stuff going on tomorrow, and with the women's game, lots. Suddenly, it's all coming up at once, isn't it? Owen Griffiths, first one live for a while. Hope you're well. Big up, Mr. Matt Stannard, for the email. So letter he sent in. Absolutely, I'd love Matt to come on the show one day to talk about what he did, how he's going through the process, and what the situation is. Let's hope we don't get snowed off, says Adrian. Our first, let's hope we don't get snowed off comment. You won't be the last person to fear that, Adrian, particularly without any undersoil heating. As always, a huge thank you as he rescues his electronic monitors from falling off the desk as they decide to go sliding across. To all of our TT Fifth Standers and our YouTube members, you guys and girls, particularly at this moment in time, keep the lights on, keep the computer whirling round. And we thank you all ever so much. And also George, who's on holiday at the moment, for putting it all in alphabetical order. I mean, he is a good well, I say alphabetical order. It's the first letters anyway. But a huge thank you. You can follow their lead by going to Ko-Fi or heading to YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, and becoming a member or donating a one-off fee. Right, let's bring in our regular member first of all. You all know him, you all love him. Well, some of you do. It is Mr. Moss. Oh, he's not there. Hello, how are you?
I'm here.
I didn't press the button. I didn't press the fucking button. I'm sorry. How are you?
I'm good. Matt's not on holiday yet. He doesn't go till tonight, mine.
I think he went last night.
No, he's going 2 a.m. Tomorrow morning. He gets picked up by his taxi driver.
Well, then, Lewis, don't take us the wrong way. Why the hell could he do a show? He's going at 2 a.m.
Well, he's probably
bathing
he's
someone.
not in bed because he's just messaged me. So he's obviously up. He's probably watching the show.
See,
will he be in the chat though? That is the big question. Probably not.
No, he's probably bathing the young lad or something.
Yeah.
He's always doing something.
It must be massive around Chelmsford. The amount of hot water he uses.
Hose pipe ban incoming. England, talk to me. World Cup groups have been drawn. You've got your name, not that people can see it, is coming home.
Yeah, it's coming home again.
It's coming home again.
21st of November, it all kicks off. England versus Iran.
Yes, England versus Iran.
I think is that on the first day, Martin, I believe.
Yes, it is. It is.
The last time England played on the first day of the World Cup, what happened?
We won. It was 1966.
There you go. So is that an omen?
Well, we've had so many omens over the last.
Well, there you go. You've got to look at these things. But I think
you have, yeah.
We'll chat to Lewis when he comes in because obviously Scotland could be in our well, there you go. Look, might be
England versus dog and duck first game.
But it's a real kind group, I think, isn't it? Really, Iran, USA, Wales, Ukraine, or Scotland. So if we can't beat them and get out of the group, there is something majorly wrong.
I do agree with that. Tomorrow, on the game tomorrow, her game too. I've got a little video that I'm going to play, and then I'll grab your thoughts around that.
Hey everyone, it's Lucy here from Her Game 2. We just wanted to say a massive thank you to Ipswich Town and Ipswich Town women for dedicating this weekend's games to Her Game 2. We really appreciate the support that the club have given, and we hope that all the fans attending have an amazing weekend.
That was Lucy. We met Lucy.
She's lost her voice. I messaged her today saying, any chance you could... And she said, I've lost my voice. It's just come back. So thanks to Lucy for sending that because she's been under the weather. But yeah, we met her, didn't we, when we went to the FCAs?
We did, yeah.
He was on the table, Kaz was on our table, and it was just fantastic to sit with them, wasn't it? And they've done an amazing job.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be across the 2 days, the men and the women's game.
Yeah.
18% season ticket holders. That's got lots of people talking. I won't kick you into the weeds tonight and ask you what you think on that one, but it's great to do initiatives.
It'll be interesting when more information comes out of other clubs.
I agree.
I don't think they got the wording right, if I'm entirely honest, saying it was a staggering figure, because we don't know until we get the other clubs' figures, Martin. You know, how many female season ticket holders have they got? I know we've got 25% now junior blues girls, which is excellent. Mm-hmm. You know, and Amy, she replied to a tweet today I put out about, so it would be great to know if you could find out like how many match day tickets we'd sell to like ladies and girls. But she said it probably would be quite difficult because I think when she said when she went to Morecambe, she bought tickets, but she bought 3 tickets and they weren't all for women. So look, they're doing it. I didn't take all the negative stuff on Twitter today because sometimes you know what social media is like, Martin. People are trying to put something out which is good and then it gets spun in a negative way. So I'm not really having that. But look, they've done an amazing job.
They have.
And look, onward and upward for them. And it's great tomorrow to celebrate it. And obviously Sunday when the women play in they've got a massive game, the girls at Felixstowe against Southampton. Old rivals. We knocked them out the cup. And Southampton have got some games in hand, haven't they, in the league? So it's really important that we can win that game, because I think if they win it, it probably looks like that they would probably win the title. If we win that game, the pressure's on them, like points on the board, isn't it?
Well, it's funny you should mention that one because it is our prediction league game this week. We've got 4, as you know. Ipswich versus Cambridge does mean there's 1 fixture free. So I have put the ladies' game in because it is an all-important game. There are the 4. I have also put Sheffield Wednesday in, as Norwich are not playing, because Wednesday obviously are a team that we're chasing for that playoff position. So interesting eyes on that one, Rich. We do need these little plucky underdogs.
They've not won for 20 games, so I'm not expecting much of Wimbledon. They sacked the manager. He went the other day as well, didn't he? So
he did. Yeah, he did.
Look,
he did.
Wednesday at home to AFC Wimbledon, Martin. If you're a Wednesday fan, you're nailed on for 3 points. You should be.
You should be.
But you never know. Football is a funny game.
Do you think all of the home teams there are nailed on for 3 points? Do you think it's be the first one of the only weeks we get all home team wins?
Harrogate, Colchester's a bit of a sort of... Colchester are going to stay up. Harrogate have had a decent season, you know, new in the league.
They've done well recently, Colchester, to be fair.
I wouldn't be surprised if Harrogate Colchester was a draw. Town v Southampton women, that'll be a real tight game, Martin, if you go on previous game. So I'd probably lean towards us to nick it, a 1-0 victory.
A 1-0. Oh, I like
and
that.
I'll be seeing the girls. I'm going to the end of season dinner at Milsom's at Kesgrave. So the first team are going to be there. The ladies are going to be there. So it'd be good to I'll do a bit of rubbing shoulders and getting some numbers and hopefully getting some more people on here.
How much that cost you?
It's 110 quid with VAT. So I went once when McCarthy was manager. You have for every course you have a player sitting on your table. We had Pittman, Tommy Smith, and we had Giles Coke, Martin. And Giles Coke was, look, he hardly played for Town. He played 5 games. He was so funny. He was a great guy. I sat next to him. I kept saying to him, "You never fucking play." And he was trying to tell me he was a good player. And he showed me a goal he scored for when he was at Sheffield Wednesday, and it was an absolute corker. And I said, "We don't fucking do it for us because you're always injured."
I can imagine you sat there giving a player a stick on his
anyway,
and he's trying to be nice.
It's bound to be Norwood, isn't it?
That's all right. You know each other now.
Yeah, come on, James. Come sit next to me.
You know each other now.
Cruncher.
Stephen Day with £5. Thank you, Stephen. We appreciate you. Thank you very much, brother. Jordan asked earlier, am I not on the list? Jordan, I think you are on the list. Let's go to our J's. James Barrett. Jordan. No, you're not. I do apologise. I will get my finest man on the job. Well, I would say right away, but he's on holiday. He's in America. He's in America, yeah. Yeah, he's waiting. Yeah. So once he's back, I'll sort that out. Right, we have got a 3-man team. He is here. He is a stand-in. He's much better than the original. He might even be doing it full time from this point on because, like I say, he's just that much better. But you do support Scott. You are Scottish, so I mean, you know,
half English, half Scottish.
So when England play Scotland, wait, they won't play Scotland. But if they were to play Scotland,
you're Scottish.
I say half. I'm actually, I think I'm more English than I am Scottish. But when England plays Scotland, I support Scotland, and if Scotland gets a World Cup, I will be supporting Scotland. Scotland. I mean, looking at the group, I hope if they manage to get to World Cup, got a fighting chance of getting out of the group, which I've never done before. But realistically, you know, most tournaments growing up in my lifetime, I've backed England. So I'm not anti-England. I'm not there to wind people up. I was born in England. Well, you know, my family's English. Mates are English. I'll be in the pub watching England. But when England play Scotland, I'll be supporting Scotland.
Fair enough. Adam does say, Adam Blamplate, Scotland versus Wales, so the right to lose to us just seems too right for me. Just seems right.
Yeah, but without making the whole show about England and Scotland, England played Scotland in the summer at Wembley, and they didn't beat them then. So why are they going to beat them out in Qatar?
Fair point. I do like Chris Boyd's comment before I get to the weekend klaxon. The World Cup draw, and I do agree with this, was the most over-engineered, unnecessarily complicated pile of tosh ever.
Agreed. And why was Jermaine Jenis hosting, Martin?
Did he get the wrong studio? Did he think it was the one show?
What? Great you say that. What? Yeah, I don't know. I tuned in and is it Chappers his name?
Yeah, Chappers was in the studio.
He was it was like 15 minutes of Chappers, and I was like, I'm out. I'll just look at Twitter or look at I think it was the Metro on Facebook that put it first up, and I was like, oh, there you go. That's the 4 teams. Yeah, such a load of tosh. But it is 8:43. We are a bit late, but it's time to raise those glasses. ITFC Legends Pack. Make your weekends flow from $14.99. Here's to pints and points. I'm just literally down that. I was that thirsty. I was that.
Hang on.
Oh, sound that is, son. Weekend is here. From this point on, we cut it loose. Anything goes.
I've got another one here as well. I've got 2.
Oh no, Jesus! Last time you had a couple of drinks, I had my ears battered. Lewis, behave yourself. Don't say anything inflammatory. I can't get my words out. What are you drinking, Lewis?
I've run out of away days beer. That shipment of the next month's subscription needs to come quick.
On the way tomorrow. And Lewis had some great news tonight.
Yeah.
What was that?
Tell them what you won.
I've won I think I've won. I haven't had a message yet. I think I've won a surprise football shirt courtesy of Away Day Beers for being a member.
I know that they've got coming your way.
Yeah. As long as it's not Norwich shirt. But yeah, so I've won a surprise random football shirt for being a member of Away Day Beers. So if that's not a good reason to sign up, if you're not already signed up, then crack on.
Absolutely. There you go. Get involved, guys. Away Day Beers subscription club. These two are members. I will take a gift as a membership. I like the key ingredient, which is money.
Yes, Mike D. I will be getting penny number 3 on the back.
Oh, you've got to. You've absolutely got to. What is it about contributors on this show that have a thing for left backs? Matt Stannard likes Bailey Clements, and he's our chat moderator. Not that he does anything in the chat. Lewis is a Matt Penny enthusiast. Rich, who have you got? Dominic Thompson? Do you want to drop Dim?
I love Dominic Thompson. I'd sign him.
Would you?
Get him in. Yeah, get him in.
I thought last Saturday was his best game. Quality. Yeah, 100%.
Richards.
I'm a Matt Penny sympathiser in that I think he got far too much stick earlier on in the season. I think he was a bit of a scapegoat. Yes, he made mistakes. He's better going forward than he is defending. But yeah, I think there's a place for him in the squad. And yeah, I have no problem with Matt Penny whatsoever. Dominic Thompson, however, I think has got better and better. And I think last Saturday was his best game. I thought he played really well.
Yeah, Matt Stannard would sign him. Mike D's obviously a massive bronze. Was it the bronze? No, was it the flying bomber? Was that his nickname?
The bomber. They called him the bomber, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, Brennan Woody said he was bombing down the wing once, and it just stuck because everyone was watching the games obviously during COVID. He wasn't bombing anywhere.
What was that game? What was that game away where he had Steve Ward at left back and then he brought on Miles Kenlock?
Oh, it was Fleetwood. We were losing as well.
You were losing 2-0 when he bought him.
That was probably one of my first articles I wrote for the paper. I was steaming, literally. God just loves Drennan. Yeah, I just love strikers that don't score goals at our level, Adam, like Drennan, Hawkins, and co. Talking of players, 442 have released top 50 EFL players. How they do this is they ask fans up and down the country to basically say what players they feel, I think excluding their own, are good, which is a bit of a popularity contest, if you ask me. A bit like they do in the NFL with the Pro Bowl. Does, I think, dilute it. I think with stats, there are probably better ways to do it these days. But there are no Ipswich Town players in the top 50 for the second year running. Are you surprised at that, Mr. Moss? Particularly as you've got
Who's in from League One? Have you got your list of League One players? Because I know Twine, Will Keane's in there. I know Will Keane's in there, Lewis. Obviously, he's left town, and Smith.
Well, they get worse if they come because Ladke last year was in there, and now he's here. He's not in the list.
There. Affaline from Bolton's in.
So you got Cameron Brannigan at Oxford, James McLean at Wigan, Barry Bannon at Wednesday, Will Keane at Wigan, Joe Jacobson at Wickham, Dan Barlaser at Rotherham, Affaline at Bolton, Cole Stockton at Morecambe, Ross Stewart at Sunderland, Michael Smith at Rotherham, and Scott Twine from MK Dons. That's your League One.
I'm not that bothered, if I'm being totally honest. Doesn't bother me one bit.
It's nice though, isn't it, Lewis, to have a, it's affirmation, I guess, of what your eyes and your own opinion tells you. If fellow fans say, actually, you know what, you've got a good player there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have had Joe Jacobson in there. I remember going to Wickham away and Wes Burns absolutely roasted him. I know I'm only going off one game, but I know he takes a decent set piece. But there's just this massive love in for Wickham that I don't get, but that's a whole different issue. I'm not a big fan of Wickham. In terms of Town, that we've got obvious quality and that it's coming to the fore now. Let's pack out the top 10 next year, regardless of what division we're in. It's not that big a deal, but I do agree. as a supporter, we always want to have that recognition, don't we? And I've been watching Quest recently. I listened to the Not the Top 20 podcast, and there's been plenty of plaudits coming our way over the last couple of months. So long may it continue into next year. But I think there could be an argument for Burns and the season he's had. The issue I have potentially with Morsey is definitely worthy of being in that top 50, but he's actually missed 7 games through suspension, which is both were debatable. The red card he got from Middlesbrough shouldn't have been a red before he signed for us. But that's what, at 8th, 9th of the season he's missed through suspension. Flynn Downs wasn't in there, was he?
No, Downs didn't make it.
That surprises me because he's getting so many plaudits and people think he's off to the Premier League, don't they? So I'm surprised he's not in it. But the whole point of those articles is to start a debate, isn't it? So I don't want to sit on the fence. I do think that Wes Burns should be. I think for a time, Edmondson could have been in with a shout, and Morsey as well. But yeah, like I say, let's pack out the top 10 next year, regardless of what division we're in.
Absolutely. A player that, had a fairly decent first part of the campaign, Lewis, obviously hasn't had a good second half, is Simpson, for whatever reason. Now, during the week, I think it was the fans forum, Mark Ashton had this to say. What I would say, it's wrong of me to talk about in any individual player contracts, but one thing I can promise our supporter base is that I will fight tooth and nail for this football club. This football club will not in any shape or form be agent or representative led. It doesn't work for me, and won't work for this ownership group. Ipswich Town will decide where its young players go, what's best, and what contracts are put in front of them, and how that works and how that pathway works to the first team. And it's the same for the senior boys. We have good relationships. Most of the agents across the world with a big wide network, and I think if you look at the careers of myself and people around me, we've been really successful in what we've been done in player trading. Sort of tough words, I guess, from Mark Ashton, who come in at the end of what McKenna was talking about. When you hear your chief executive talk like that after so many years of Evans and O'Neill, as a fan, what do you think? What's your opinion now of the situation and of Mark Ashton?
I think that Mark Ashton's a very, very intelligent guy. And I think with everything he says, it's meticulous, calculated, and there's hidden messages within it. That one's probably one of the less hidden messages, in that he's making quite a clear point in that, we have a ceiling, regardless of the investment that we have in our club. We have a ceiling of what we believe players are worth. We're not going to be dictated to, and we're not going to be held over a barrel, and we're not going to roll over. And I think throughout the fans forum and the other interviews he's given this week, he's going to do what he believes is best for Ipswich Town, and that's, as a supporter, you can't ask for any more than that. He's fighting for the cause. He's fighting for our club. He made on a separate note, he made a comment about how Portsmouth got multiple cameras on iFollow and we've only got the one, and he's taking that to the EFL because he's not happy about that. He seems to be fighting our corner on every single case, and I think when it comes to agents, player contracts, I don't blame Simpson. I don't blame the player. Obviously, in Kieran Dyer's interview, he was very quick to defend Tyrese Simpson in this, and he's a young lad, and ultimately he's gone away and he's done really well in League Two, but it's been half a season. He scored goals, and I think Ashton is laying down the challenge, probably alongside Kieran McKenna, to say, take your contract for now, and if you do well, we've already seen it with players like Donasian. Donasian was rewarded for good form. So I think there's almost a hidden message, a bit of a challenge there for Simpson of, tell you what, take this offer, get your head down, work your way into the team, and if you're scoring goals in the first team, then we'll come back around the table and we can talk, and you'll be rewarded for that. And it's that motivation. Whereas far too often in the past, we've handed out big contracts to people that have let us down and not performed. And you think about certain loan players we had who then became permanent. We threw money at them because we as fans wanted them to sign, and they haven't delivered. So I think it's good. I think it keeps players on their toes, and I think that's what's needed as young players as well.
They were sticking classes a little bit. Rich, this football club will not in any shape or form be agent or representative led. Doesn't work. And then he also says Town will decide where its young players go, what's best, and what contracts are put in front of them. Lewis mentioned the Dyer interview. You've heard those words from Ashton. Strong words. Is this a little bit of laundry being aired? A little bit of games.
Surely we should be talking about bottle tops, ball boys, and burgers.
Well, this escaped me.
No, look, Tyree Simpson, he was obviously bought back in January. And I think the plan probably was, Martin, for him to get that contract sorted and probably go back out on loan. I would have thought so.
Yeah.
But what he's done, look, nobody knows what's going on. We can all speculate. But I think it's pretty obvious to everybody that he's had some bad advice.
Well, that type of language does lend itself, doesn't it? You know, we will decide where they go. We will decide the contract they have.
He's basically wasted probably 5 months of his career by he's training with the 23s. He trains a little bit with the first team, where he should have been sign the contract, get your head down, go back out on loan and score some goals. But I think Ashton's playing hardball, Martin, and we're not going to be walked over anymore. And it's totally the right thing. You know, Simpson had half a good season at Swindon. Half a good season, that was it. You know, he's not achieved anything in the game. And if in the summer that they decide, I know he's got another 12-month option, haven't they, on his contract, they can take up. If he goes, I won't be crying over it, you know, move him on. There'll be a lot more people who want to come and play for this football club. And that's apparent now with what's happening with McKenna. They're all buying into what he's preaching on the training ground. And if we've got people like him that think he's a little bit, maybe, look, nobody's bigger than the football club. He's a young lad who hasn't done anything. And look, sure, there'll be quite a few teams, Lewis, I'd have thought, if they say to him, you can leave. And it could come back to bite us, but we ain't going to be held to ransom by anybody. And I think they're playing exactly the right game, Martin, you know.
Nice to see.
It is nice to see, because for too long, look, we've sat here and we've had these conversations and
we've been roll over, tickle our belly, and make us
exactly. So if you don't toe the line, look, he might sign.
It sends a message, doesn't it, as well? It sends a clear message to the other representatives and the other agents within the network. Actually, this is not a club to play games with. This is not a club that will, be easily led. Because I think for too long we were easily led. That was a large part of the issues of the football club, particularly in the marketplace. We've got Chris Boyd. No, sorry, I read that one already. Keith Dono. We did see an extra camera in front of the Magna stand against Plymouth. There we go. Prague at Portsmouth. I've never actually heard or read anything from Simpson himself. I don't think you will, though, to be fair, though.
Well, right. If you look at Mike D's message there about he posted on Instagram. And I read that.
He wasn't. Yeah, I read that after the forum. Maybe a bit of an ego. Don't know. Don't have to build to be a social. But yeah, the thing is, this is not about the lad. The lad, I think, is just a victim of the game within the game. I was intrigued by the chief executive's language. That forthright, that powerful. It's not something I've heard from my CEOs in a long time of this football club. To be honest with you, it's always been a little bit softer, shall we say. Talking of soft approaches, corners, Rich. Not an issue for some, apparently. Isn't that right, mate?
No.
Wink.
You know that I didn't mean that.
Well, your head was gone. You were having a Sam Morsey red card moment. You just
missed.
The red mist. It's 16 games that we haven't scored from one, and I would say it's borderline impossible, says Kieran McKenna, to get out of this division with that record on 6 set plays. 16 games we haven't scored from. Around 25% of goals usually come from set plays, and I believe in this division it's even higher, says Kieran McKenna. Borderline impossible. Is that right? Is it borderline impossible to get out of the division without scoring from set pieces?
Well, we've scored, 2 goals this season, haven't we?
Yep.
2 goals from corners, I think. You had Edmondson at Plymouth.
That was the last one.
And then Macaulay Bond scored. I think it was Shrewsbury, wasn't it? He scored the header. And look, we are 9th in the table. You know, there's a lot. This is what I like now, mine, with McKenna. They're the little fine details. You know, he talks about, and I don't think they're going to get set piece coaching if you sort of read between the lines what they were saying the other night. But
we are third tier, aren't we?
Yeah, but we could afford it, I think, if we wanted to. But it's interesting when you look at the top of the assists there in League One. I think McConville from Accrington, top.
Sean. Oh, not again.
Yeah. 13 assists, I think he's got. And you look at the.
Oh, no, not again.
Look at the size of Accrington players. They come down and we see them. It was Land of the Giants, wasn't it? But a lot of it is about delivery. A lot of it is about movement. So hopefully,
most of it is delivery. Most of it is
definitely. And we haven't really got. Chaplin takes corners, not that great for me. Selena, all right. They're a bit hit and miss, aren't they, everybody? Lee Evans is probably the best, and he's not in the team at the minute. He's still injured. So, yeah, we'll just have to see going forward. But we do definitely need to add goals. And you think, what's Edmondson? He's got 2 goals. Wolfenden hasn't scored. Burgess hasn't scored. Donatian hasn't scored. So it's all areas of the team that everyone... Well, I know we're saying... When you look at them stats for the strikers, Martin, it was 22 goals for the 4 of them that we scored this season. And possibly if, like, Macaulay Bonne was on 20, we'd be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But goals have to come from all areas of the team. And next season, this is something that we're going to focus on, aren't we? If we go the remaining 6 games and we don't score from a corner, that's 22. And then you have 2 or 3 that start next season. Then you don't want it to become an issue. You need to get that monkey off your back.
You do 25% of goals, if not higher, in this division, Lewis. That sentence alone raised my eyebrow because it shows a manager, for me, digging deep into the stats, into the analytics, and not just knowing about his own team, but also knowing actually here comes that word, Rich. What our KPIs have to be for this division. We have to be hitting a huge obviously that's obvious, but a huge number of set pieces now have to be converted next season to being amongst it, right?
Yeah, I think with Kieran McKenna, it's obvious already that no stone is left unturned. It's attention to detail on every aspect. Mm. He will know Cambridge tomorrow inside out. He will know how they play. He will know the areas of weakness. He'll know the areas of strength. He would have had them watched. He would have watched them himself.
Yes.
And that was clear from the outset. I think from his first press conference, he sort of said, I don't have a style of play. I will play based on the opposition that we are facing. And then he talked in detail after we played MK Dons away about the reasons why he started Jackson was because he wanted to use his pace to push him back. So I think what makes it really good for us as supporters is the fact that it doesn't just come out with quips and cliches. He actually explains in detail behind it. And yeah, he would have done his research on the data around set pieces. And he's obviously already, I think he mentioned it at the forum, he's identified that it's an area of weakness. I have absolutely no doubt that he'll go out and address that in the summer. Whether it be, sign a specific player or a couple of players, he'll be doing work as well. I do think with set pieces, as a manager coming in halfway through the season, and look, I'm sure there'll be people that will come at me with different examples of, a coach has come in or a manager's come in and teams have improved their goal ratio from set pieces. But I would say for set pieces, you need time on the training ground for that. And you need to work on it and work on it and work on it. And everyone knows out of the 11 players, even down as far as the goalkeeper, where they need to be for a corner. The goalkeeper will be instructed where to stand within their own half, how many players they leave back, how many, the runs that they make. And I think McKenna and Pert and the coaching team over the summer will absolutely address that. So yes, it is concerning. It has been an issue. You heard the groans go up last Saturday against Plymouth. I think the first corner we got, Selena played it short, and the whole of Bobby Robson lower kind of groaned. And I think the way we're trying to play in terms of possession and keeping the ball does lend itself to, we just look to take a short corner and keep the ball moving. The issue comes, we have corners sometimes, it ends up going back to Walton, doesn't it? And then we look to change the angle of attack. Because we'll keep the ball. So we'll take the corner out of the quadrant, play 4 passes, and then change it again. It isn't like Accrington, as Rich said, where you're going to load the box. You've got Land of the Giants. You're hitting certain areas and you've got players in and attacking it. But it's clear it's an area of weakness. And again, I agree with Rich that I would have said Evans is probably our best set piece taker and he's not been playing. So yeah, area to work on. I think we all know that, but I absolutely think McKenna will address it.
The good doctor does say we're perhaps missing we're missing Evans' delivery. What's a popular sort of tactic at corners now is that I think the first time I saw it was with England. Gareth Southgate, you line them up one by one behind each other. Plymouth did a bit of that last Saturday. It's very effective. We just tend to stand in one place and then just all charge the goalkeepers. So yeah, I would expect a little bit of work to be done. £2 from Neil Perks, 20-goal striker, and goals from everywhere needed. Leads us on, Lewis, because McKenna himself does say we need goals from more positions, such as Rich has just done there. How do you get those more goals? Is it just as simple as set piece play here, Lewis? Is it, chicken and the egg? Is it if you score more set plays, you're going to get 4, 5, 6 goals out of 2 centre halves, which in turn means you've got more goals, free kicks. Last time we scored a free kick, I don't remember when. How do we get those fabled more goals from other positions that McKenna wants?
Well, I'd say set pieces play a part based on what we've just discussed in that potentially that could make up 25% of a team's goals.
Is it as simple as that, or is there other ways, is there other areas of the team not performing?
I think we've seen a difference with Sam Morsey, for example. He's got a couple of goals recently. He's been arriving late in the box, a couple of decent finishes. For Sam Morsey, and I think there's even been comments in interviews players have given, I think it's a running joke that Sam Morsey can't shoot in training, and the players have alluded to that and made comments and things like that. But he doesn't need to shoot if he's getting beyond the striker like he did last Saturday and getting a tap in from 3 yards. It was a decent finish against Fleetwood inside the foot, just inside the box. So that's one area. Because I think I joked, didn't I, that at one point, the only goals we got from centre midfielder against Doncaster with Lee Evans getting a hat-trick and then Backinson scoring, and then Morsey's popped up with a couple, which is great. I think every area of the pitch, yes, Wes Burns playing right wing back, but he's got 11 goals this season, and I don't think there's any other wing backs in the league that have got that number. I know he played further up the pitch at the beginning of the season, but I think goals can come from all over the pitch. I do think the late runs into the box at times will look a little bit isolated. So playing that one striker, often one of the 10s will pick the ball up out wide, and they've got one person to hit in the area, and quite often that player makes the run towards the far post. That's one of my biggest bugbears with Macaulay Bonne, is he generally tends to run in behind when the ball gets played in. And how often is the ball cut out at the near post by the centre half? It's drilled in along the ground, and Norwood or Bonne or whoever is just behind him, rather than trying to get in front of him and kind of just get a touch on it and nick it in. These are all areas where we can improve. But I think goals can come from all over the pitch. I think they do need to come all over the pitch as well. Because as we've seen, Bonne went on a great run at the start of the season. Norwood went on a goal-scoring run over December. But they dry up, and you need people consistently scoring. And thankfully, Burns has done that. I do think Selena and Chaplin can pop up with a goal. But they need to come from the centre halves, and that comes from set pieces, going back to what we said earlier.
Okay. Matt Stannard, I think we've lacked height and physical presence in the box of late, which is why we try and play it in. Stephen Parry, it's tough during the season when you're learning patterns of play. I do agree with that, Steve. I think that's very true. Your focus on the training ground is very much to get in the basics and the principles of that system down. Good evening, doggos at Crunch's house. 4.49 from Jeremy Lowe. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Another bottle of water, says Matt Stannard. Yes. £2 for a bottle of fucking water. Mike D, I believe the goals will flow. Water to flow. See how we move here. Even the chat moves as one. Once Kieran McKenna gets in his own players. Rich, I'll come back to you in a moment. First of all, yesterday obviously was meter reading day for many. Lewis, did you read your meter?
Yep, we've been away for the week and came back yesterday, and I set a reminder on my phone so that I'd go out and read the meters, and then couldn't submit them because the websites were down. Thankfully, I managed to get them in through the beauty of social media.
Well, you see, I was clever. I did mine on the Thursday night, thinking it's all going to crash. It's all going to be Millennium Superbug all over again. And then they text me saying, you can text us. So I got it in twice, technically. But it was meter reading day. We all did that. Why? To try and save ourselves a bit of money. So let me just highlight one of our partners, Woodpecker Protection and Mortgages. They do all sorts at Woodpecker Mortgage and Protection. Get the name right. There we go. Graham is a Town fan. He will help to save you money, get you on the property ladder, whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you want to accomplish. Me, myself, Saving money is what I live to do. So that's why I'll be going to Graham. Graham at Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection. His email is at the top of the screen, as is his phone number. I ain't saying he can definitely save you money, but I'm not saying he won't either. Check him out. He's a Town fan, and he'll love to, primarily talk football, I would have thought. Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection, partners of Talking Town. Talking of agent fees, Mr. Moss, ours were released this week. Do you want to pass any comment on that? We have spent nearly 800,000 on agents between Feb the 2nd and January the 31st. Almost double the 341 paid out during the previous year. Any comment from yourself on that?
341 for us was the previous, was it?
Yeah.
Well, what about other teams? What were they sort of?
Town's total is higher than 6 championship sides, including Barnsley, Blackpool, Derby, Hull, and Luton and Peterborough. Yeah.
Well, I suppose look.
You pay what you get, then, yeah, in this football.
Yeah, but I suppose in the summer we went buck wild, didn't we? 19 signings, so you're going to pay a bit of wedge out there, aren't you? Really?
I don't know, but agents fees, right? Let's have a conversation. It's a very brief one, but because fans are funny about agent fees, like it's not a new thing releasing the agent fee, but every year they released, it was almost like a badge of honour seeing Town not spend that much, and I kept thinking to myself, it's all right having this not spending much on agents and calling them whatever you want to call them, but that normally is reflective on what product is on the football pitch, which was dog shit. Yeah. And there was a reason why.
Anyone would disagree with that. You know, you pay for what you get, don't you? And
I would happily see my club pay £1 million agent fees if we had, a Rotherham type side. Now we're building something here. So I'm seeing those agent fees, Rich. I'm not upset. I'm not angry. I'm not disappointed. This is 2022 modern football. We're finally a part of the modern game. We're finally in it.
But yeah, all aspects of the club, not just agent fees. We have woke up, haven't we? We have the sleeping giant has been awoken. So
yes,
if you're going to have to pay, look, you're going to have to pay money out. It's part and parcel of football, Martin. I know a lot of people might think, oh yeah, that's quite high, but like you say, in the past, look what we were getting. Look what we've got now.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Absolutely.
So be it,
Lewis, where are you on agent? I'm a little bit confused as to why the club have to play. What do you think about agent fees, basically? I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to get into that stinging nettle just yet.
It's a tough one. I thought it would be high based on the number of players we'd signed. I think you were alluding to why should the club pay it and not the player?
Kinda, yeah. I was starting to get into that territory. It always does perplex me a little bit because surely they're representing the player.
Yeah, and then you look at super agents. I know Ashton alluded to the fact we're not going to be having super agents involved with our club and things like that. But I think it's an issue throughout the game, isn't it? And from the sounds of it, you get good agents. Go back to a Tristan Nydam interview that you guys did. Tristan Nydam's agent was encouraging him to take out insurance and things like that, which then set him up for the next stage in his life. You seem to get more and more these super agents who kind of, like, if you take Alan Harlan, for example, from the reading and understanding that I've done already into this and his potential move in the summer, there's talk of him not making that move to a Real Madrid, Barcelona or Manchester United or City just yet, but going to, say, for example, a Juventus, to then eke out more money to make a move a year or two after that, because it's that constant flow and, eking out that money. And I listened to the Price of Football podcast with Kieran McKenna. I don't know if either of you have listened to it before. I think it was this week's or last week's episode. They were talking about agents and they were interviewing an agent who said that you could give up your job on a Friday, do a course over the weekend and qualify as an agent and represent a player, so you could get anybody, Sorry?
Just like that, Lewis. Just like that. You could do it over the weekend.
Yeah, apparently.
They are looking to change that, though. They are looking to change that. I read, I think, on The Athletic. They are looking to bring in requirements, I guess that is the word I'm looking for.
I think they're needed. Yeah. I think that there are good ones out there, but unfortunately, there will be those mercenary ones who are looking to eke out every penny they can get.
Always. Even if you did have badges, though, like let's say you had agent badges, Lewis, you'd still get that, though, wouldn't you? Because there's people are still needing to make a dollar, I guess. Georgie Mendes is a super agent. He's the first one that comes to mind when you say the word super agent. Do you think Wolves fans mind what he's done to their football? I mean, I wouldn't mind if he was to come down here and do the same thing to us.
What, all the quality of the Portuguese that they brought in there?
Well, and now playing in the Premier League. I mean, I remember singing "Que Sera Sera," you're off to Shrewsbury.
Well, they were in the third tier. They were like us.
Yeah.
Look at them now.
Yeah.
You know, solid probably top 8, top 10 Premier League team. Look, quality players. You know, Jota. Look at him, Martin. They brought him in, sold him for big money to Liverpool.
Yep.
Neves, who I said about before, he's probably the next one's going to be sort of moved on. I don't know if you rate him, Lewis, but I think he's a quality player. Ruben Neves is. So
yeah, fantastic. The Portuguese goalkeeper, he went to Roma, didn't he? And then they signed another one in the summer. I mean, I thought a lot of it was down to De Santo, Espirito De Santo. And then he left, and obviously it didn't work out at Spurs. But is it Lauge from Benfica? He's done a fantastic job. I really enjoy watching Wolves. So I think there is always that argument of, you know, we're currently sitting 9th in the third tier, so we can't turn our nose up at any club that's currently plying their trade in the Premier League. Well, 19 out of 20 teams we can't, but there's one exception to that.
There's always one.
It's how you want to get there, isn't it? And I personally am excited by the route that we're looking to take to get there, but the route that Wolves have taken is a route and it's valid. And when Wolves have been playing in Europe, their fans aren't going to turn it down. And as I say, I really enjoy watching Wolves play. I just think you have to be a bit careful with agents, because I can imagine for the quality players Rich has just listed that have gone to Wolves, I bet they've had some absolute dross through the door as well, where there's been deals and, you know, trying to get people in the spotlight and so on and so forth. So, yeah, bit of a difficult one, but it is a lot of money we've spent on a.
Oh, we've lost him. But it's a lot of money for 9th position to not really go anywhere. I do think, though, to come full circle, Rich, finally got a chief executive who I think knows 99% of the agents, is a people person, but isn't just a people person that gets walked over. Is a people person that has the club at heart and will be tough, as we saw in the earlier part of the show with those words in the fans Q&A. You know, this is a guy now at the top who is the right man to lead the Giant back into football society, I guess, is it for a better term. It was
interesting when he was talking, Martin, about I watched the Blue Monday with him, and they were on about when Cookie went, and 460 people we spoke to about the manager's job, or it was in the 400s, and then he said it didn't feel right, but he had a chat with Matt Holland and Simon Milton, and he said even though he was at Bristol City for like quite a while, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Ashton even admitted that he's still learning about the football club. But yeah, he's got his head screwed on, hasn't he, Mark Ashton? And I know at the minute everyone's loving him because we're going in the right direction, aren't we? And from what we've had, look, it's like night and day, Martin, from what we've had the last 13 years, you know, and Mark Ashton comes in. But there will come a time when it gets a bit difficult, you know. At the minute, it's a bed of roses, you know, for McKenna, for Ashton, but they do have to deliver eventually. I'm not saying, look, at the minute, we're probably not going to make the playoffs. We're probably going to be in the same league, but it's all right saying you've got world-class staff. We do need to keep our feet on the ground a little bit. I see people at Neil Perks in the chat there saying 3 years to the Premier League. Let's just calm down. Next season, it's going to be a totally different kind of pressure on Kieran McKenna, because more expectation. Look at tomorrow, like you said before, Martin, probably 26,000 in the ground. People's expectation have been raised by what he's done. And look, he has done an absolutely fantastic job. When we start next season, though, that counts for nothing. what we're doing now has gone.
It does, and the honeymoon will go with it the moment there's a couple of results to it. And that's the same for Ashton. The moment this window happens, either a player's not signed that fans wanted, or a player is signed, or is sold rather.
We're fickle as football fans. We have to admit that. You know, Mike Fishman said before and he's right, everyone wanted to sign Macaulay Bonne. Now people are saying they wouldn't sign him. And that's not just us. That is football fans all over the world, you know?
Yeah. Well,
someone's favoured a month 1 minute and they're not favoured a month the next. But like you say, there will come a time when it becomes a bit sticky for McKenna and Ashton. Let's see how they react then when the going's not so easy. You know, it's all right. They're having these fan forums, absolutely brilliant. But at the minute, easy questions are being asked, Martin. They are.
Great, yeah,
I'm not being negative at all. I don't want anyone to think I'm being negative. I'm just saying, let's just keep our feet on the ground and let's look. This is as positive as we've been about our football club. And I was reading on Twitter earlier, it was saying people are falling in love with Ipswich all over again, Martin, because we've had 13 years of crap, you know, absolute crap. We were getting what were we getting under Mick in the championship towards the end of his tenure, crowd-wise?
Oh, ridiculous numbers, low.
But we were getting. They were saying one attendance, and it was clearly. I was talking to the guy who sits behind me last week, and he said it was soulless, wasn't it? The stadium. They'd be announcing the crowd, but after probably season ticket holders didn't turn up, and there was games I didn't go to because I was absolutely bored out of my brains. So now we're ninth in the third tier, but we're getting 26,000. Unbelievable support. That'll be the 10th time over 20,000 on the trot, and like he's aiming, Lewis, he's aiming for 28,000 next season.
Yeah, and he sees the potential in the catchment area, doesn't he? And yeah. I mean the campaign's the £10 ticket offer for Wigan, and well done for all the work you've done around that in generating funds for others who don't often get the opportunity to go. You know, raise some more money for those.
I couldn't use that, Lewis, because Luke Waring at the football club said I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet about that, Martin. He said, what did he say it was? I couldn't.
Data protection.
That was it. So you couldn't use other people's season tickets. So look, I've raised the money. It's gone to volunteering matters who helped me out with all the tickets for the Pack Out Portman Road. I've donated to Simon Milton and for Future Stars, Matt Holland. I messaged Matt today and said, I've got some money for you. I said, I've not even set up my Just Giving page yet. But he is up now. So I've donated to him. If anyone else wants to donate, you know, I'll send the money to them because the community is really important to the football club. And that was another thing that was lost under Evans. And like Ashton was saying, Martin, I don't want to go over old ground, going back to the forum, look at the size of Suffolk. You know, we're a one-team county, aren't we?
Yep, with heritage and
massively.
Tradition. It's a great question, Rich. I can call you Rich, can't I? It's a great question. And sorry, I was doing my best.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Mark.
It's a great question, Rich. I can call you Rich, can't I? Oh, brilliant. Yeah, it's a great question and one we're looking into. And sorry, that was my Mark Ashton impersonation. I'm sorry. Right, on to tomorrow's game. Injury news. Lee Evans has had another scan this week. Just to check up on things, Kieran McKenna says it's progressed well, so we're hoping he can join in with the squad training at some point. I already thought he was, Rich. There must have been a setback there at some point. So I thought he was on the grass.
Did he say last week he was back on the grass?
No, about 40. I thought about a fortnight ago. I'm sure I read that on a show out that he was on the grass.
See, I'm not that worried at the minute. We've got 6 games to go, and I think
I'd sit him.
Yeah, if he's not. Look, if we get in the playoffs, possibly, but at the minute...
It's Big T's show now. It's Big T's. Yeah, Big T's show now.
Yeah, he's playing well in there with the captain. So there's no rush for Lee Evans in my book. You know, if he gets fit and plays the last couple of games, he'll probably want to play. But wrap him in cotton wool, pre-season, and bring him back in August. No, July. It's July, isn't it, the first game?
July. He did also say, not at the start of the week, but at some point during the week, hopefully he can join in with the training group if there are no more setbacks. So that does allude to maybe having been one. Edmondson, on the other hand, still got a fair way to go with his ankle injury. Not sure exactly what the timescale is going to be, but I think it's going to be a big push to see him in the league campaign. So hopefully we can extend the season a little bit longer if we want to see George again this season. But again, Lewis, if we extended that season, I wouldn't want to see George again, because if we extend the season, that means Cameron Burgess is still playing well, and I'm sticking with Burgess if the season's extended. Has he frozen and disappeared again? Because it's a very long time to hold that pose.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Yeah, that's an incredible pose to hold for a long time. What about you, Rich? Do you think if we get to the playoffs, do you want to see George, or do you think likely just sit? George.
Look,
Edmondson.
We ain't even missed him.
Exactly.
Look, good player. Don't get me wrong. George Edmondson's been a fantastic signing. But Burgess has come in. I totally agree with Colin. He's been absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing him tomorrow, because that was sort of one of his games away at Cambridge, Martin, where Joe Ironside, he bullied him, I thought, that day.
He did.
I know you think it was a foul. I know we had that chat before about the goal, the first goal. I thought it was just a bit too strong for him. But I think tomorrow, let's see what you got, Joe Ironside, when you come to Portman Road with 26,000, down there. But what I'm looking forward to tomorrow is hopefully Wes Houlihan playing. Sam Morsey could kick him one way up the A140 and then one way back down the A14.
Nice. Matt agrees with what we were saying about the data protection. He says, bin it. Unless I know it as a fact, I don't want to say the club is, I don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about something else. Let's go to 1 to 11s. Lewis, as you're here, I'll jump to yours first, because we don't know how quickly you might disappear.
What are you into there? Get a hamster
sorry.
wheel. Get it peddling.
I know, it's killing me. It's because Matt's going on holiday. I've had to take him out of the wheel.
This is your 11, Lewis. Talk me through it, because you've both got one difference. Now, I'm not going to say what that is just yet. I'll show Rich's team and you'll see the difference. But talk me through Aluko and Selena for you. What's your thinking behind that too, and Bond, please, Lewis?
I'm a bit reluctant to change a winning team from last week. And yeah, I really like Chaplin. I just think that often him and Selena take up two similar positions. I think I said that at the Portsmouth game as well. They both seem to pop up on the inside left. So I think Aluko adds a little bit more balance. Yeah, my only change from last week's team would be Bon, give him a run out instead of Norwood, who was all right, did okay for the goal. But yeah, I don't think he really took his chance last week, so I give Bon an opportunity. So yeah, my only thinking, and I suspect I know what change Rich has to his 11, but yeah, I'd have Aluko just to add a little bit more balance alongside Selena, who has been excellent recently, and I think he's overcome his illness. He's up to full speed fitness wise, playing well under McKenna. Yeah, he's nailed on for me at the moment.
The chat are asking, are you Flatty in disguise? We do love a bit of Adam Flatt on the platform. He had internet issues as well. Yeah, the Joker. Love Flatty. I'm going to have to WhatsApp him after the show. Craig at Portsmouth guessing Richard's Chaplin instead of Aluko. You are guessing correctly, Craig. Rich, you've gone for Chaplin, not the balance of Aluko.
Aluko he did have a really good hour last week. But I want that goal threat, Martin. We were talking earlier about more goals in the team, and he is one, Connor Chaplin, edge of the area. You've seen it. I think it was the Accrington game, or was it the Fleetwood game at home? One touch bang in the net. Now, Sonny Aluko, I know he did score 2 away at Cambridge, didn't he? 26 games, Martin, without a goal. Now, for all his good work he does...
You got to tell me, mate, I know.
For all the good work he does, and he is really good on the ball, I still want more. I want that goal threat. And I think tomorrow against Cambridge, I think early, if we score early tomorrow, someone is going to get a hiding in these last 6 games. And I think it could be tomorrow. You know they're probably going to come. They're going to sit in. They're going to try and frustrate. They're bringing 2,000. It's their big day. But yeah, I think if we can get an early goal, we could get a really good victory. And I want Chaplin on the pitch because he gives us that extra goal threat. But it's up to Kieran, who he goes with. He might go with Aluko because he did have a good 60 minutes. I agree with Lewis. Selena's nailed on now, isn't he? He's one of them 10s. It's just who is the other one with him. And look, I know Mike's saying in the chat there about Norwood. I thought Norwood was okay last week. I didn't think he was anything outstanding. He done well on the goal, Martin. But I think Macaulay Bond needs to get back on the bike, scoring goals, and I think tomorrow might be his day.
He's done okay with the goal, but he's not done anything. I mean, Selena makes that goal. Don't get it confused.
Lofted ball.
All Norwood does is put it back into an area.
No, I think you're being harsh on Norwood there. I think you're being harsh. It's a really good first touch. He's held off the defender.
Well, I couldn't do it, but that's why he's paid the money he's paid.
I thought he done well for the goal. I thought he done really well for the goal. But it was a good ball from Selena.
Yeah, I mean, if I could do what he could do, he'd be sat here asking for £5 co-fis, and I'd be earning the money tomorrow at Portman Road. Fuck off with the pre-assist. Yeah, I'll tell you what, as pre-assists go, one of the best ones I've seen in a long time.
Nearly as good as Luco's at Gillingham for Matt Penny. That
was phenomenal. That was phenomenal.
Sorry, for who?
Matt Penny. See, listen, stay here long enough, Lewis. It all comes full circle in the end, my friend. We always come back round to the end. Aluko, overrated, says Craig at Portsmouth. I do struggle with Aluko because of the love he gets.
He's not overrated, is he?
The way some people talk about him, he is. You'd think he was prime Iniesta. No. You see it on Twitter as well. Like, for me, when I write down words associated with my perception of Aluko, it's tidy, it's bright, it's intelligent.
You're not keeping him, are you, next season?
No, I'm not keeping him. No, because the stats that define his role, he doesn't get anything in.
I think you need that type of person around the group he's not playing every week. He probably knows that himself. But he can come in, Martin, and you know what you're going to get from him, and he's consistent. He does need to have more goals. I'll get that. But I think it's a no-brainer. I'd give him another year tomorrow. I really would.
See, I don't know what sort of wedge he's on. And you know, he's entitled to get as much as he possibly can because he's got to feed his family the same way we all have. But as a fan, I'm thinking budget. I'm thinking, talent. I want Selena. I don't, if that means I get Selena, but I have to lose Aluko, that's fine. If it's a toss-up between you can have Aluko and a striker or Selena, I get Selena. I just want more goals or assists.
Don't forget you got Raheem Harper coming back.
Oh, mate, no, he's gone. His time at the club's over.
Hang on, you click that up.
Come on. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that he's had a good year or anything.
Oh no, bad luck after midday.
I don't know. Aluko is a tough one though, Lewis. In six games, if he can get 4 goals, my opinion of keeping him would change dramatically because I do think in that 10 role, Lewis, you are only as good as your assists suggest you are. And those are assists and goals, in my opinion. What do you think?
Firstly, it depends what division we're in, because I'm still grasping onto hope that we've got a chance. If we go up, no. Most likely we're going to be in League One next year. I think that Aluko gets us up the pitch. I do agree. I think the output needs to be more. It's not for a lack of shots, is it? I was thinking about this.
No.
Remember in the Lincoln game, he had a couple of chances. He hit the side netting early on last week, cut inside, didn't he? And
twice.
That's a good point there, Lewis, from Norman Greenwood in the chat. He wants technical athletic players. Yeah. Although
Colin Plum does say it's because I've watched Muir and Tyson, etc. Are you putting Aluko in the Muir and Tyson bracket, Colin? That's a bit of a heavy hit, isn't it? I don't know about that. But hey, it's your words, not mine. Lewis?
I like Aluko. I think he's good to have around the club. I see no harm whatsoever in signing him up next year. I think he's still got a lot to offer.
He's telling you that.
Luke overrated. I wish I was half as overrated as him. It's true.
You need that experience though around the group. You do need that old head, Martin, and a bit of leadership. I know Sam Morse is the captain, but Aluko, look, he's been a Premier League footballer.
Yeah.
I'm keeping him.
I'm really reluctant.
But the way some do talk about him, you would be confused at times that he has got double figures in every key stat. The way some talk about him. And that's not Colin. That's on social media.
That's football. Everyone's got an opinion.
I read earlier today. I'm sure I read that this team was better than the Mick McCarthy playoff team.
I did reply to someone saying this team.
I nearly fell off my pissing chair.
Yeah, they said it was because we had Daryl Murphy and everyone else was average in that team. I thought, what?
Well, talk about David Burns. Take Wes Burns out of our team at the moment. You ain't going to have much left of a threat, are you? Let's be honest.
Aluko does offer something though. He does make things happen. He gets us up the pitch, and you can't underestimate that. I do understand about the stats and the output on that, but I just think for a year, I'd have him for another year, probably with the understanding from his side that he's probably going to get less minutes, but he can still play a key role for us, whether it be off the bench, whether it be in the cup games, because if we are going to stay in this league, we're going to have more games in the EFL trophy and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I like Aluko. I think he offers something more than just goals and assists, which I appreciate as a number 10 you're looking for. But the other point I'd make, I'm really, really reluctant to make too many changes this summer to the squad. There's certain areas we need to change, but I think for the first time coming towards the end of a season that we've been in League One, we're actually optimistic. And I know next season everyone starts on a level playing field. It's a whole new league, new teams, new places to go. But I'd only be making maybe 4-5 additions and a couple of obvious exits. I wouldn't necessarily be chopping Aluko out, because then you've got to replace him. And I think there's other areas where we need to replace. And we've still got, if we sign Selena on another year loan or manage to do a deal permanently, we've got him, Chaplin, other younger players coming through potentially. I think it's the striking area and a certain, cover in certain positions that we need to look at rather than looking to ship Aluko out and then replace him with someone else. We need to hit the ground running. And my only other point, although touch wood, the internet seems to be working currently, I'm also reading so much about people wanting us to sign Manchester United youngsters on loan. We need seasoned pros next season. We need to hit the ground running. Cruncher said it the other day. We need players that are ready for League One and men's first team football. Look at Louis Barry earlier this season. I'm sure he has got a lot of potential, a lot of ability. He's got good pedigree. But he just wasn't quite ready for League One first team football, unfortunately. And I don't think we can take a risk on, even if they're Manchester United. Playing for Manchester United under 23s is a really good standing and a really good standard. But you could do it in under 23s football with a half-empty ground. Can you do it in front of 28,000 fans at Portman Road week in, week out for a team that's looking to win the title? I don't think we can afford to take a risk. I think we need to go with more seasoned pros next season. So, yeah, that's only my input. But I keep seeing people linking us with Manchester United youngsters, and I just don't think that's the way to go this summer.
There you go. I think that was quite a good little job interview there for me. Eking out the content for Talking Town TV when Mark Ashton launches it. I think I did all right there. I made Aluko the focal point. We eked it out, Rich. Did all right, I think.
You're the face. You're going to be the face of that.
I'm the face that runs the place. No, but I think, because obviously when it's all positive, and it is positive after this really, it feels like a big week. It's positive and everyone is happy and it's great. And it's really pleasing to hear fans falling back in love with their football club, being enthused with their football club, engaging, being intrigued. 20 plus tomorrow. Everything is slowly turning around, and to have a conversation such as Sonny Aluko, should we keep him or not, after what has been a fairly good season, average to good, it just shows the healthy position the football club is in. We're no longer searching for big pieces of a puzzle. It's complementary pieces to the Wes Burns.
It's interesting you say that, because today the voting opened for Player of the Year. Now, season's gone by, Martin. We've probably struggled for one or two. Look at last season. James Wilson won it.
God.
If you look at this season for the voting, there is a lot of players who'd give a very good case, Lewis, for Player of the Year. There's more than probably, you've got 4 or 5, I think, who'd, if they won it, I don't think you could really say that they don't deserve it.
And I think that's a great talking point for Sunday. I think that's a great. Who wins your Player of the Year? I think that's a great little segment for Sunday. Lewis, you won't be on Sunday's show, sadly, so you tell me who is your Player of the Year before we do score predictions.
I casted my vote earlier, and it was tough. Like Rich said, I could have 5 options, but I went for Wes
Harper,
and I hope Raheem Harper comes back, works with McKenna, and he gets a run. I remember the show with the West Brom fan when he first signed.
So do I.
Remember your statement after the West Ham friendly. But yeah, I have no problem whatsoever if Raheem Harper comes back. But getting back to the point, Wes Burns for me, fantastic. And yeah, good luck to him. But just to pick up on that, you go to Portman Road now, you see kids walking around with players' names on the back of the shirt. And there's 7, 8, 9 different names, you regularly see, because kids have got heroes now, whereas couldn't always have said that. And that's a real positive, and that's something to build on. And I'm sure there'll be more to come in the summer.
So I totally agree with you there, because my 14-year-old Ollie said to me, we're driving to the game, Lewis, last season. He said he's really enjoying it now. Look, they've been going since they were kids, and they've seen nothing. They had one playoff season. We've seen a load of dross. And we could be, Martin, I'm saying we could be on the verge of something really, really good. But I agree with Lewis. I wouldn't be making major changes in the summer. We really need to grasp this momentum that we've got at the minute and get out of this division next season. Next season has to be. We can't be sitting here in April next season scraping around, trying to get in the playoffs. We need to start fast, be up there at the end of August, and stay up there the whole season long. We've had enough of this league.
Well, yeah, fucking so have I.
Get out of it.
Oh my God. I was
Forest Green. We've got teams like Forest Green in the league next season. Fucking Forest Green. Don't even get by when you go there, Lewis.
Sutton United. Coming up.
This is tragic, isn't it? Tragic. How do you vote when you do a vote? What details do they take from you? Do they take an email?
No,
I'd sign in through my Gmail account.
I didn't. I just went on there, clicked on it, and thank you very much.
So if you clear history, can you do it again?
Well, possibly.
Can I vote for Raheem Harper 400 times so I don't look like an idiot? He's Player of the Year.
Are you coming to the Player Award evening, Martin, after Charlton?
Probably, yeah. I think
you've got to get there, Lewis. You've got to get there. We're going to be in the Bobby Robson. Martin's going to get the camera out. We're going to do the Talking Town post-match show in there. Come on, get in there.
We are.
What's their Wi-Fi like?
Better than yours.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Better than yours. Yours is a microwave, right? Score predictions.
Matt's going to be pedaling up in the corner on the bike.
Matt will be there, won't he? Yeah, score predictions then, boys. And ladies in the chat as well. Boys and girls, score predictions. Rich?
Well, look, it's Cambridge's big day out. They're calling it a derby. I've seen a lot of their fans fishing on social media. If we score an early goal, I think they could go under. I'm going to go 3-0 Town. It's going to be a big crowd. It's going to be another great atmosphere. Look, it's great, Martin, and there's 2,000 Cambridge fans coming down tomorrow. I see the average away attendance at Portman Road is about 600, just over 600, because we've been playing teams like Fleetwood and Accrington, and they bring about 150, 200. Tomorrow, Cambridge, I know they're just down the road, but they're bringing 2,000. They've had a really good season. Look, fair play to them. Mark Bonner has done an amazing job there. They're 16th in the league. They've had no issues with relegation all season. And that's a successful season for them. They'll find it harder next season because teams will work them out. But tomorrow, yeah, 3-0 Town. I can't see anything other at 5-5 when we're at Sir Alf, a comfortable Town victory.
Okay, that's Keith Dono. My whole family, 10 of us coming tomorrow to celebrate the life of my father-in-law. I'm really sorry for your loss, Keith. A Town fan who we laid to rest on Wednesday, so a win for him. Terribly sorry to read that, Keith. Hope to maybe meet you tomorrow.
Stuart at work knows him. So Stuart, who I work with, he's not a Town fan. I've got him tickets tomorrow, so he'll be there at the game tomorrow as well. Come to the statue, Keith.
Please do. Hopefully, Town will do your father-in-law proud. Again, sorry for your loss. We've got Roy Clark 3-0, Rob Smith 3-0, Colin Plump 3-0, Daniel Barnard's gone for a 5-0 Destruction Derby game. Mike D 4-0.
Hang on, read what did you just say?
Destruction Derby.
Oh, fuck off.
I like peddling it. It gets some people really upset.
Don't bother me.
I couldn't be bothered either way. It's a game of football. I suppose within proximity, it could be a derby. Geographical.
Yeah.
It's a big word for me. That is, particularly at 20 to 10 on a Friday night. Geographical.
I know a lot of Cambridge. I know a lot of Cambridge fans who are going tomorrow. They're going to the game. but Cambridge is their second team, Martin, because they'll support Liverpool and they'll support Leeds. So Leeds? It is what it is. Yeah, one of my mates is going tomorrow. He's going. He's in the Cambridge with his little boy. He's a Leeds fan.
I get supporting a big team like Liverpool, but Leeds?
Leeds are massive.
Only to themselves. Ryan, 3-1. Norman, 5-0. Dr. Zach King, 3-0. Has to be 6-0. No. Odds are dropping. 3-0 from Megan.
What normally happens here, Lewis, with all these big scores? We normally lay a big fat raspberry on.
No, I don't feel that this way. I don't feel it. Normally I run through the scores and it's like win, 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 win. I go, pit of my stomach starts to turn and I start to think, I've been here before. Northampton, as I keep referencing. But this time I feel a bit different. I don't feel that way. I feel like these guys do. I think tomorrow we're going to rock up and knock these for 6. I reckon they're going to turn up and Wisdom and then have even got out of bed tomorrow morning. I fancy it.
We've never beaten in the league. We've never beaten Cambridge in the league.
I've never done a podcast until I did one. It's always a first time, my friends.
Very true.
Always a first time. Jeremy Lowe, are there tickets still available for the Player of the Year event? Rich?
Yeah, they're on sale. You can go online. There's an email you can reserve them, or you can go if you're at the game tomorrow between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the fan zone, in the marquee. There's a little table. You can go and get tickets there, or at the Wigan game.
The Lancaster Derby, says Mike D. Budgie knows an Ipswich fan that loves Liverpool.
Does he really?
Does he really?
Doesn't love Liverpool, does he really?
One day we might share to the audience what that is about.
I don't think he should, really.
May have done well, but they ain't played with McKenna at the wheel. Right, we're back tomorrow, 2 p.m. live from the Sir Ralph Ramsey. We'll be there from about 1:30.
Get here early tomorrow. Big crowd. Get your parking space early. Come and see us.
Do stop by and say hello. Even if you don't want to put on the show, just come and
let's hope the East Anglia move their bloody table from Sir Bobby.
Oh, you watch them move it to our fucking place tomorrow. You watch turn up there. It'll be statue wars without Matt Phillips.
Hope he's got the sun cream. Hope he's packed. What's the temperature in Tenerife at the minute?
I hope it snows. I really do.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better.